Chapter 23, Speechy Goodness. And for those of you who were not with me yesterday, this one is about the two young men who are being invited to go to Comic-Con, these two boys. And they're getting ready to get on a plane and head to New York City. A week later, there we were, flying to New York City by ourselves. Someone from Comic-Con was going to meet us at the airport, and it was the first time Michael and I had flown anywhere alone. It was crazy, in a good way. And you know what else was crazy? We had not gotten our speech figured out yet. Yeah, the same speech we swore we were going to start a week ago. How did that happen? So we worked on it in the air during the flight. I didn't know how big the audience was going to be for this ceremony, but even if just one kid showed up, I was already super pumped about the whole thing. I felt about as excited as an over-caffeinated chihuahua, which is what I told Michael. That's what we should say at the ceremony, he said. Over-caffeinated chihuahua, I said. No, Michael said, and he started scribbling down some ideas. Something like, if even only one kid likes what we did. Right, I said. Except we didn't actually do it since someone else made those potty mouth and stupid cartoons. Right, he said. So even if one kid likes what someone else did but kind of did it because of us, that's better, I said. Then everything we did or didn't do or might have done, even if we didn't know we were doing it, would all be worth it, Michael said. Makes sense to me, I said. And we double high-fived up top and once down below. That's our signature high five. Also, I told Michael, you should be the one to give the speech, not me. You're way better with words. Ah, fuzzle-mush, Michael said. Thanks, man. Chapter 24, on our own, in a good way. When we got off the plane, there was just one little problem with the person who was supposed to meet us at the airport. There was no person to meet us at the airport. People were coming and going everywhere, but none of them were holding a sign that said Littlefield and Scungilly like I thought they were going to, or even potty mouth and stupid. But who cares? We were in New York City for Comic-Con. So we just started following the other people to see where the crowd took us, like a couple of trout floating downstream. When we went outside, there were even more people. Hey, look, Michael said. Off to the right, there was a driver in a dark suit holding a sign that said Littlefield and Scungilly after all. And right there, getting into the back seat of this car, were two guys who looked sort of like us, but weren't us. Before we could say anything, the limo with fake Michael and fake me took off, headed for the city, or for somewhere. Anyway, not with us inside. What the hickle snicklepox, Michael said. Those guys were imposters. But I was still too excited to worry. It's kind of cool when you think about it, I said. How many kids do you know who have their own imposters? Good point, Michael said, but what should we do now? We should have called our parents. We should have spoken to an adult who worked for the airport. We should have made a careful decision and not done anything our folks wouldn't have wanted us to do. Let's take a taxi into the city, I said. Works for me, Michael said, and just like that, we had a new plan. I had $40 on me for food and stuff. Michael had $52.81 for a total of $92.81. That should be plenty, I said. I mean, how much can one little taxi ride cost? 45 minutes later. That'll be $98.50, the cab driver said when we pulled up in front of the convention center. I said, Michael said. You have got to be kidding me, the driver said. He ended up letting us give him our $92.81, plus a free potty mouth and stupid comic, which we would have signed for him, but he asked us not to. But hey, who cares? Because we were finally here at Comic-Con, the Comic-Con. And that convention center was off the hook amazing, not to mention huge. As soon as we got inside, I saw people in every kind of costume you could think of. It was like a whole comic book city all under one roof. But wait, is that Charlotte Johansson? Michael asked. And the thing is, it very possibly could have been. There were people dressed as superheroes, megavillains, manga characters, anime characters, characters from Calvin and Hobbes, Stranger Things, Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate, and characters such as Star-Lord, Starfire, and Star pretty much anything else. I saw Pikachu, The Incredibles, a bunch of Ghostbusters, Deadpool, Spider-Man, plus another Spider-Man, plus a whole bunch of other Spider-Men, plus a couple Dragon Kings, and a walking, talking poop emoji. And that was all in the first 5 minutes. They had everything here, everywhere you looked. The question was, where did we need to go for our ceremony? Excuse me, I said to a half-human, half-tarantula who was walking by. Do you know where the Cartoon Hall of Fame abduction Induction, Michael said. Induction is, I asked, but when the guy pointed all 8 of his legs in different directions, I couldn't tell which one was the right one, and he was already scuttling off somewhere else. Maybe there's an information booth around here, I said. Excuse me, Michael asked a lady dressed as Groot from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Do you know if there's an information booth around here? I am Groot, she said, and kept moving. So we decided to just try to find the ceremony ourselves. I mean, it had to be here somewhere, right? And we'd come this far on our own. It couldn't be that hard to find. I mean, how big could the whole place possibly be? Yeah, it's kind of big. Chapter 25, Lost. Finally, we found a directory to tell us where everything was. There's the directory. And that's when we finally found what we were looking for. There it is, I said, pointing at one of the million things on that sign. Cartoon Hall of Fame, induction ceremony, East Building, South Wing, 4th floor, Hall C, Ballroom B. Got it, Michael said, and turned to a passing Wonder Woman. Excuse me, Mrs. Woman. Do you know where the East Building is? Lucky for us, she did. Once she pointed us the right direction, we hiked about a mile through some long hallways, down 2 levels, back up 1 level, around a bunch of corners, down an escalator until we finally saw the right sign. East Building, Michael said, and we high-fived, low-fived right there on the spot. As far as we could tell now, we were on the right track, but we still had to find the South Wing, 4th floor, Hall C, and Ballroom B, so we just kept going. And that's when it all started getting a little weird. Kind of in a good way, but also in a really weird way. So they get totally lost. But they meet all kinds of really amazing people. So in the end, it is kind of awesome. They go to an amoeba room, and they get to drive a car, and they do a Simpsons meditation room, and they see Chewbacca from Star Wars. It's pretty awesome. But they are totally lost. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. That's it for today. Bye.